Users have asked how to download images from a list of URLs. Most times I'm asked how to do this with Excel. That's possible, but let's not do it the hard way. All we need is a text file, each line a URL to download. I'll show how to do this both on Windows and in macOS. But before I do, an explanation of how we'll accomplish it. Use the system command curl. This is a Unix command, but it's no longer limited to Unix. Mac is based on Unix since OS X, so of course the command comes built in. And Windows 10 added the curl command. Older versions of Windows, it's possible to download an executable, but most likely you're using at least Windows 10, so that shouldn't be needed. Curl is for Client URL. And of course, URL is the acronym for Uniform Resource Locator. In simpler terms, the web address for a page or image. You see these every day in a browser. https:// etc. We'll create a batch file for Windows and a shell script for macOS, both a single line that calls the curl command to download the images. I'll start with Windows. First, choose a location where all of this happens. This location is where we save the list, the batch file, and where the images downloaded are saved. For me, it's an external drive. Open Notepad and paste your URLs. Save this as list.txt to the location you've chosen. Now make a new file. File menu, New. We'll use DOS commands to download the images. /f quote tokens equals asterisk quote space %% space in space parens list.txt n parens space do space curl space -o. That's a capital O, not a zero. And finally, %%a. /f means run a for loop on a file or files. Tokens equals asterisk means every line of the file. And notice that's wrapped in quotes. %%a is a variable. That's the current line of the file. Note that's 2 % signs. In list.txt means the items to process are lines of the file list.txt. The name goes in parentheses. Next is what to do for each line of the file. Do curl. Then the curl arguments. This is the only time letter case matters. -o is the character O, not the number 0, and it must be capital O. This means write the output file to a file name that matches the remote file. In other words, the same name as the file name in the URL. Lowercase o is something else, so be sure to get this right. Last is %%a, a reference to the variable that is the current line, the current URL to download. The for loop reads each line of the text file and then calls curl to download it. Save the script as download.bat, for example, at the same location as the list file. The name isn't important, but the extension is vital. It must be BAT. Close Notepad and go to the location of the files. Double-click the batch file. There you go. Just that easy. Now for macOS. First, choose a location for the files. To make your list, open TextEdit. Navigate to the drive and folder you've chosen for the files. Click the button New Document. Next is important. Before pasting anything, change to plain text. Click the Format menu and select Make Plain Text. If you miss this step, the rest doesn't work. Now paste your URLs. Go to the File menu. Save. Name it list.txt. Now to make the shell script. Still in TextEdit, go to the File menu. New. Again, first thing to do is go to the Format menu and make plain text. The script won't work otherwise. Enter this one line. xargs space dash n space 1 space curl space dash o. That's the character O, not a 0. Then space, left angle bracket, space, and finally, list.txt. xargs is a Unix command that converts input to commands. In this case, the curl command. -n is the number of items to convert. In this case, just one, our list of files. Then the curl command and arguments. This is the only time letter case matters. -o is the character O, not the number 0, and it must be capital O. This means write the output to a file name that matches the remote file. In other words, the same name as the file name in the URL. Lowercase o is something else, so be sure to get this right. The left angle bracket sends the contents of the file after it to xargs. So our file, list.txt, is sent to xargs, and it does the rest. Go to the File menu. Save. You should still be at the same location we saved the list. The name isn't important, but the extension is. I'll call it download and change the extension to sh. That's for shell script. Quit TextEdit. Now, unlike Windows, we can't simply double-click the script file. Instead, open Terminal. We have to be in the directory where the script is. Enter CD for change directory and a space. Then from Finder, drag the folder to Terminal. I grab it from the path bar. If the path bar isn't showing, go to the View menu. Mine is already showing, so instead the choice is Hide. Drag the folder from the path bar to Terminal, then click the Terminal window to make it active. Press the Return key, and we're in that folder. Now type sh space and the name of the script. For me, download.sh. Press the Return key. And there it goes. Back in Finder, we can see the downloaded files. If you get an error, URL using bad illegal format, it means your list file is misconfigured. For example, if it came from Windows and was copied to the Mac, it likely has the wrong line endings. If so, open the list in TextEdit, then make a new file and follow the earlier steps to make a fresh copy with Mac line endings. Try again and it should work. I've packed both finished scripts into a download. Get it at the link in the description. Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe so you're notified of future videos. Also, leave a comment. I always like to hear from you. All feedback is welcome. There are plenty of other tutorials. Click the video or playlist on screen for more. Thank you for watching.